My name is Trippler. I'm the Director of Government Affairs at the American Industrial Hygiene Association. And I've been asked to kind of give you a little insight into government affairs at AIHA, why we do it, how we got into it, and why I believe it's so important to the profession and the association. It's interesting that a profession, scientific profession like AIHA members find it very, very difficult to deal with government agencies and policymakers, and it is sometimes difficult. I would say that probably the most important thing we do, though, is probably dealing with the federal agencies, such as the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. They rely on professional associations like AIHA to provide comments and details on different regulatory activities that they're involved with. I, in turn, then, deal with our volunteer committees and other members in putting together those comments, submitting those comments to the federal portal, and trying to have an impact on what's happening with the profession and worker health and safety. You know, and it's not always easy, because what you end up with are comments that sometimes deal with situations that we don't really want to deal with on a daily basis. But it's really important for these federal agencies to get that information. Let me just give you a couple of examples of why I think it's so important. Let's look at the whole idea of competency of people involved in occupational safety and health. There are over 350 titles in occupational safety and health today, and yet out of that 350, less than 30 are accredited titles, including the CIH. So it becomes very, very important for us to educate policymakers, in this case, a lot of them on the state level, and who are the people that are qualified to do something like mold abatement, mold analysis, radon, various things like that. So it becomes very, very important that we do that. We've been lucky. We've had a government affairs program that has allowed us to go into states and into the federal government and put some things into effect that we really need to do. But the overall bottom line in this is that we need to have people educate policymakers about what our profession does. Not just what our profession does, but how it has an impact on worker health and safety. I recall reading a quote from a congressman who passed away several years ago, and he was in the United States Congress for 30 years, and he was chair of the House of Representatives Science and Technology Committee. And he actually stood up at an engineering conference and said that when it comes to good science, politics plays over good science. That politics rules everything. It doesn't make any difference what the good science says. That's scary, people. That's very scary when you have policymakers who know and believe that politics overrules good science. So it's important for professionals, it's important for professional associations like AIHA to become involved and stay involved in the political process. We don't contribute to campaigns. We don't get involved in any kind of campaign whatsoever. And we run a very bipartisan, nonpartisan educational effort. I think the most fun of doing what I do in government affairs is when you get a call from a congressional staffer who says, we want AIHA to consider signing on as a signatory, supporter of this piece of legislation. And you look at it and you realize the reason they want you to sign on is because we're considered the good guys in the white hats. They can constantly look at us and say, we have the support of the professionals in industrial hygiene. We have the support of the American Industrial Hygiene Association. And that's what makes them look good, and in turn, we hope that improves worker health and safety. Thank you very much.